Hey, what's up, guys? I'm officially month 3 into my blast cycle, which started around the new year, and I'm taking testosterone and Primobolan and HGH and now Anavar in a very small amount. But in this video, I want to talk about Primobolan specifically because, you know, there's a lot of I've been reading a lot of forums and watching a lot of videos online. Some people love Primobolan, other people say it's weak, some people say it causes sexual dysfunction, some people say the gains you make on it aren't great, there's better compounds such as EQ, and some people even say that it's liver toxic. I want to cover whether it is overrated or not, because obviously we want to be, if we're putting our bodies at risk, there better be a good reward. And is the reward taking Primobolan worth it? And short answer right now, I'm going to say, based on now, it's part of my own experience, is yes, it is worth it. So why? I'm taking around 400 test and 400 Primobolan a week. And a lot of the benefits I'm getting could be attributed to the testosterone, is attributed to the testosterone, no doubt. It's the primary anabolic builder that I'm working with right now. Primobolan's a bit weaker, but I believe that it's a good thing to stack on to testosterone, because you can only take so much testosterone before you have those androgenic effects or estrogenic effects, which I have experienced. But since taking the Primobolan, first of all, when I started taking it, my body was, I believe, was kind of overloaded with just the quantity of gear I was taking at one time. I wasn't used to it, right? So for the first week, I felt really almost sick and weighed down. But after that week, it was just changed instantly. After adding the Primobolan, there was a huge, this is a benefit, huge shift in mood. You can look back at a video I made about just the sexual things. My sex drive was through the roof. But it wasn't just that, it was just overall well-being. And obviously testosterone plays a major factor in that as well, taking that. But, and this goes from other people's experiences as well. The Primobolan is a major mood boost, okay? But after that first week of experiencing, quote, side effects, just because, like, again, my body, I believe, wasn't used to it, that much foreign substance that you're injecting in the body. But once it became acclimatized, very quickly did I experience like no major side effects from it, other than heart increased in blood pressure, which I attribute to the testosterone, not the Primobolan, because when I brought the testosterone dose down for a week or two, that subsided. And now I believe, since my body is used to it, my blood pressure is slightly elevated, but not in the danger zone, which it was over 150. It was like 155 over 90 at like 100 beats per minute. Yeah, that's not healthy. We don't want that for long periods of time, but it's come down to like 130 over 85 now, which is acceptable range considering I'm doing around 800 milligrams of gear a week, plus the Anavar, plus the HGH. So yeah, I covered the mood. I'll just go over the gains you're making. So it's not like you blow the fuck up. Like, I've been taking it now for over 2 months, and I believe it was only within the last 2 or 3 weeks that I actually noticed like I was making significant gains in the gym. So I believe it's a slow burner, so to speak. The gains will come over time. It's a longer ester, so that makes sense as well. And you know, it's just not one of those compounds you're going to take to blow the fuck up real quick, because with those drastic changes becomes more drastic side effects, correct? And the whole point of taking the Primobolan, which is why it's so good, is that it has such low side effects. So that's a major plus. And it's really interesting. I was watching this guy the other day, Kurt Havens, who I like to follow, and he was being interviewed, and he said something which is kind of funny, that it was only up until a few years ago that that it was known for being kind of like a chick drug to take, kind of like Anavar, and it was like weak, and it was one that chicks take. It wasn't one that like real bodybuilders would take, such as like Deca or EQ or Trenbolone, right? And but that being said, back in the day, it was one that in the golden era that bodybuilders did take. Like, it was apparently Arnold Schwarzenegger's favorite in the late 70s and 80s, and arguably that's the best when he looked his best as well. So it is one of those drugs that you can run for longer as well. Like, there's some drugs, like even Trenbolone, I know a lot of people run that longer, a long time as well, but probably not the healthiest thing to do. It is not the healthiest thing. It's more of a contest prep thing that people run for like 6 weeks, and same with orals, and same with other compounds. But like I believe Primobolan, you could run anywhere from 16 to potentially 30 weeks at the top end, and potentially longer if you were to do it with a TRT dose at a very low dose. Like, say if you're just taking 100 milligrams a week on your TRT dose of 200, I wouldn't recommend that per se. I'd recommend maybe just staying with the testosterone, but it's still possible. And if you ran it at that low, I have no evidence to back this up, but I guarantee you could run that for almost year round. Now, you do have to watch out. There's some studies that were done in the 70s, because there was actual clinical use for Primobolan. It still is in some countries. I believe Japan and Turkey, and maybe Germany, still use it for maybe some types of anemia, or like low red blood cell count or something like that, muscle wasting disorders. But so there's been a lot of studies on this, and there's studies that you can read yourself. I read them a few months ago, where it suggested that in some of the subjects in the trials, in the experiments, they suffered some liver issues. So there's still a risk there, guys, and that's the major thing I want to convey, as well as the risk for hair loss, and risk for high red blood cell count. That's the primary ones. Potentially slight heart elevation as well. That's the only ones, but no estrogenic effects. In fact, it might even do the reverse. Everybody's different. Everybody has different genetics, but just like Masteron, apparently it can help reduce the estrogenic effects from heightened superphysiological doses of testosterone you're doing. And that's kind of what I'm stacking it with for that exact reason, kind of a 1-to-1 ratio. I don't know what the ideal ratio, I believe, is. Everybody's different, but I believe if you're doing testosterone, say 300 or 400 milligrams a week, and you match that with Primobolan, I'm just going to go out there and say that there's a good chance that will be fine. I believe that also, just my last point here, that this testosterone, Primobolan, and HGH stack is ideal. I think this, like I was thinking the other day, this might be the only kind of steroid cycle blast I will ever do again. Because the gains that I'm making, I don't want to blow the fuck up like a bodybuilder. I'm not a one to be like I don't want to be like competing or anything, right? So I'm not about making that. I don't want to look like I'm on steroids, for one. You know what I mean? And a lot of the other steroids you do will, after like doing it for not a long time enough, people at the gym, your parents, your family, your friends, everybody will look at you and be like, that guy's on steroids, right? I don't necessarily want that. I want to look like I'm fit as fuck without having a steroid look, right? And not just that, the performance element, the strength element. So that's where I'm at. That's for me, it's ideal, because Primobolan, it won't blow you the fuck up necessarily unless you're taking huge doses of it with huge doses of testosterone. So that's why it's ideal for me. And that's why it might be as well ideal for, I'm sure, a lot of people who are watching this aren't going to want to be competitive bodybuilders. If you are, then yeah, there might be other choices like EQ or nandrolone might be a good choice. So is Primobolan overrated? No, in short. But is it the strongest? No, it's not the strongest steroid as well. So it depends on what your goals are. But I believe even for bodybuilders who are professional bodybuilders in their off cycle, they use lots of Primobolan as well. Potentially they run like over a gram of testosterone and a gram of Primobolan, even more, potentially up to 200, potentially up to 2 grams of testosterone, and then a certain amount of Primobolan in their off season. And that's not constant contest prep per se, but I don't want to make this video about pro bodybuilders and their cycles, whatever. No, that's not my forte. So I'll stick to what I know, and what I know is based on this experience. It has been ideal. It has met my goals, what I've expected, and in a relatively short amount of time, in 2 months. That's a short period of time, correct? So I'll leave it there, guys. What do you think? What's your experience with Primobolan? Is it overrated? Is there more ideal compounds out there? And the last thing I should mention is some people did experience sexual deficits on it. I haven't, so for me it's been all good there. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.